So, welcome to our annual Nonprofit Commons Community Harvest, which has become a tradition. And I'm going to drop you all a note card that has the schedule in case you would like to sort of follow along and know what's coming up next. And then I'm going to introduce each one of the speakers as we go along. So they will tell you a little bit. I'd like you to hold your questions until the end of the Community Harvest event. Perhaps you could jot them down on a note card and just hold those questions. And then we'll have some time for those at the end of our Community Harvest celebration. So, our goal today is to share a few examples of rich projects and communities here in Second Life. And these communities, see, I'll put that in the local chat. Our goal is to share rich projects and communities. I consider these resources, just like books were back in the 20th century. We still love books, but they're not what a virtual librarian shares. And so, what these are rich communities that offer things and they bring them to the table, so to speak. So, we're all going to stand up in a minute and we are going to walk over to the Nonprofit Commons Resource Library. It's a short walk. And there we will, our speakers will sit at the harvest table. And I'll ask all the rest of you to find another seat. There's several tables, there's places to sit on the ground. Just gather around the harvest table and we will see what everyone has to share. It's a short walk. So stand up and please follow me. I'll introduce each speaker briefly so that we know who's coming up next. So our first speaker, and our speakers they can use voice, they can use text, or they can use a combination. We're going to start with someone from a community that probably most of you have heard of, many of you partner with. It's a very rich community in Second Life, Virtual Ability. But we're going to hear today from a member of Virtual Ability who's going to share with us, Pecos Kid. So I'm going to turn the microphone and the attention to Pecos Kid. He's sitting over here at the harvest table. And before we start though, I better walk around to the front of the Pecos, excuse me, let me do one thing. I'll walk in front of the podium here. You can see me standing in front of the harvest table. If you click on my basket, I have a lot of handouts in my basket from all of these people. This is a basket full of harvest goodies. So please click on my basket and Pecos Bill is going to get us started. So I'll turn off my mic.
I'm Pecos Kid, and in real life, I'm Dave Ludwig. I'm Vice President at Virtual Ability Incorporated. It's a pleasure to be here today to tell you a bit about Virtual Ability and what we bring to the harvest table of nonprofits in Second Life. Most of you probably know about Virtual Ability via Gentle Heron. She is our founder, president, primary spokesperson, and an inspiration for many of us. She would love to have been here today to give this little talk, but she is busy with her real life family and asked me to fill in for her. Virtual Ability was founded in 2007 by Gentle and a few of her friends who intentionally looked for an online way to build a support community for people with disabilities. We believe that we were the first nonprofit that started as a virtual world group and then later obtained our 501c3 designation. Our business model is rather unique. We don't do a lot of fundraising, though donations, of course, are welcome. See our website. Rather, we have been successful over the years in partnering with various governmental, educational, and commercial organizations to do projects that involve disabilities and virtual worlds. For example, we worked on a multi-year project with the United States Department of Veterans Affairs to provide support for Iraq and Afghanistan vets with limb amputations, their families, and their clinicians. This project also included a randomized clinical trial to evaluate the effectiveness of providing information in a virtual world environment compared with providing it via traditional online methods. Acting as a subcontractor, consultant, in-world build manager, in-world focus group coordinator, and similar roles on these projects has provided us the income to support our in-world community. For it is, of course, our in-world community that is our primary focus and that best defines what virtuality does. We offer peer support and a community enriched with educational, social, and entertainment opportunities for people with physical, mental, sensory, developmental, and emotional disabilities and their families, friends, and caregivers. We are a cross disability, multinational peer support community. We have members who are blind, deaf, type with their toes, have chronic disease, have traumatic brain injury, are on the autism spectrum, and many other uniquenesses. From our member surveys, we also know that about a quarter of our membership does not currently identify as having a disability, but rather are family, caregivers, or researchers interested in disability related issues. Last year, Virtuality hosted 460 different events for our community, and we have logged over 400 events per year for the past decade. These include information and education sessions, member led tours of interesting SL venues, weekly chats around the campfire, art gallery openings, and lots of dances. We provide opportunities for interested members of our community to lead, not just attend. Volunteers host events, teach classes, assist with greeting and mentoring, and do most of our social media posting. We also conduct two professional conferences per year, the International Disability Rights Affirmation Conference and the Mental Health Symposium. These conferences serve many goals. They help bring awareness to more in-world residents. They provide opportunities for our members to help plan and assist with the events. And they bring in real-life academicians, authors, researchers to do the presenting. That has actually led us to several funded projects for us. So it's really a win-win for everybody. Finally, I'd like to highlight what has been a core principle for us from the beginning, and that's collaboration. Through our work with many other disability-related peer support groups, to our long association with Nonprofit Commons, we believe in giving back to our community and helping others succeed. We measure our success not by how many people we have in our in-world group, but by how many use our services to grow and find their own special space in the virtual world and become productive members of society there. We are proud of what Virtual Ability has achieved over the years and what it means to our members. For some, our services provide information or entertainment, but for others, our community is truly their home. Thank you.
Thank you, Pecos. Applause, applause. That was wonderful, and it really gave us insight into what a great community Virtual Ability really is. And our next speaker, some of you have also heard of this community, which is a long-standing community in Second Life, but some of you may not be aware of how they're networking with so many other communities. We're going to hear from Sen Maximus from Builders Brewery. Sen?
Hello and happy Friday, everyone. And how do I follow Picos after that? You know, I'm one of the biggest fans of virtual ability, so it's hard to follow. First of all, I want to apologize because my brain, I think, is forever. I was just telling Val, forever in another time zone. I was thinking that this was tomorrow morning. So everything that I had planned on writing is not even uh even something that I'm probably going to be saying, but I'm going to just wing it if you will hang in there with me. I really just, the biggest thing and important thing that I have to share, and what I guess what my community, Buildersbury, brings to the table is it's mental time zones, you guys. It's like last year's time zone. Um, but the Builder's Brewery is something that came around unexpectedly. And I think that goes to say a lot about what Second Life is all about. That we have an opportunity to share what we know, right? Share what we bring to the table with people who otherwise we wouldn't be able to share it with, or don't have an opportunity, or might have um, different issues that prevents them from going out and learning and things. So here we are all together at this wonderful spread. By the way, this is wonderful. I have this this thing where I have watched Buildersbury grow to something that was, well, frankly, beyond our dreams, our expectations, and as evidenced by our name, Buildersbury. It doesn't, say school, but this is pretty much what we are. We are training, we are school, we are education, we're mentorship. We are a group and a community. And it's basically all these experts and people who are even non experts just wanting to share the information with other people. And we do put them through vetting and all, but it all comes together in this wonderful, magical place. And then it's up to the rest of us. We try to overlap things in our education. We overlap with the classes and the actual training, but then we overlap it with the hands-on experience, helping them to practice. We have peer group, the help groups and so on, so that the lessons themselves can be, held deeper and longer that way, as well as creating new friends and a community. Bottom line, we want everyone to always feel that they belong, and they belong, no matter at what level that they enter into Second Life or into real life. We teach everything from Second Life skills to real life skills. So it runs the gambit. What we did, and I'll make this closure quickly. What we did, though, is we really do see the importance of incorporating other organizations as much as possible, because, frankly, that's, what we're all about, is trying to bring all these different minds together to create something wonderful, right? All of us here are doing that. So I was really elated to see such a wonderful organization like Virtual World Education Consortium, um, bringing us all together with the new VWEC region, where we can now meet regularly and bring in other entities, other educational institutions, and to bring more of awareness to the education in the metaverse than I think that is out there. A lot of people think it's just beginning. Facebook didn't just invent it. It's been around for many years. And the faces that I see here right now are those faces I saw 15 years ago or so when I joined. A lot of you have been here a long time, so you know what I'm talking about. And I'm honored beyond words that we have been invited to this table, and we hope to see you again at next year's table. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sen. We are so happy to have such a great, strong partnership now with Builders Brewery, which many of us have really admired for years as a great learning community. And our next speaker is Janaya, and we have just rezzed a gift that she has for you in the big box right in front of the turkey. So, Janaya, tell us about Song Flight.
Thank you. And please grab your free gifts and wear your wreath for Ukraine. So, greetings. My name is Janaya Moraine, and many of you probably know me because I share my passion for creating stories in virtual spaces that educate and build empathy and kindness. So, today's story is about my latest project called Song Flight. It's a global initiative designed to help kids affected by war connect with other kids around the world through stories, songs, and collaborative creative projects. It's a story that began on February 24th, 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine. Since then, more than half of Ukraine's children, an estimated 7.5 million, have been displaced by war. This includes more than 1.8 million who have crossed into neighboring countries as refugees. Kind of tragic, actually. Songflight aims to do three things: help Ukrainian kids feel seen and heard, help children not directly affected by war learn about and develop the emotional intelligence they'll need to deal with war as adults. I mean, kids really need to talk about it and understand why it happens and what to do about it. And then the third thing is give parents, educators, and organizations working with children the tools they need to help their kids come to terms with war. How do you talk to kids about war? So, needless to say, this is a big project. If you'd like to know more, here is a link to our website. Thank you, Ria, for doing this for me. I'm also giving a presentation at the International GLOW Education Conference tomorrow at 9 a.m. SLT. I hope you can join me there. It'll be fun and informative. Here's a link to that. And finally, Songflight has a virtual component called the Sea of Sunflowers here in Second Life. Over there, you'll see sunflowers planted in honor of children. We'll be hosting live concerts there to spread the word about Songflight and to plant more sunflowers. Pay us a visit at this slurl. And if you're like everyone else I talk to, because it's so much fun, if you want to plant a sunflower in honor of a child in your life and help us gather feedback, please fill out this short questionnaire on this link, and we'll plant a sunflower for your child with their name on it, and we'll send the child or you an email with an animated sunflower on it. They kind of look like sunflower pinwheels. So that's about it for me. Please grab your gifts, and I would love your thoughts and feedback, because this is a project that is not going to happen with just me. It's going to take the whole world to contribute and make it work. So thank you for sharing with me and letting me talk. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. And we very much look forward to your session coming up for NPC on Songflight. If anyone had a little trouble with the gift box, we have behind the scenes tech working on that. So we'll go ahead and move on to a new member of NPC. How exciting to have some communities that we've known for many years and some new communities just coming along. And Stacy Maracas, some of you got to visit recently Echo Vets. She's going to tell us a little bit about this new community and what they bring to the harvest table. Stacy?
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm still learning about the talk and then copy paste, so I'm gonna just bear with me here. So good morning to all of you. I am Stacy Maracas. My real life name is Stacy Lee, and I actually just recently learned how to make that shown on my tag. So I'm the president of Echo Vets Band of Brothers here in Second Life. I am also a U.S. Army Desert Storm combat veteran, and yes, I am a girl. Echo Vets is a very real 501(c) organization. It started in California, where I'm originally from, and the president then asked me to start our first chapter in Arizona this past year when I moved here to Lake Havasu City. And we also have a chapter in Tennessee, and now a legitimate chapter here in Second Life. In real life, I have worked for the Department of Veterans Affairs since 2012. I am a Veterans Outreach Program Specialist for the Vet Center, which is a smaller branch of VA Healthcare. I tell everybody that we're the cooler side of the VA because most of our employees are combat veterans. Band of Brothers is a peer-to-peer mentoring organization. We have leagues for softball, bowling, billiards, you name it. We get veterans off their butts from the couch and playing a sport or coaching one, just being a part of any aspect of that. And to earn the jerseys that I'm wearing, they must also give back to their community, which with events that we do as a group for our cities. You can see photos of us in real life doing our thing on our sim as well. And I do have in the note card the landmark, which I don't, you'll have to bear with me on the slural thing. I'm still learning that. I'm terrible. I've been here for 18 years. You'd think I would learn better than this on the fly. Here in Second Life, I brought that same concept as well as our copywritten jerseys. So our jerseys are copywritten in real life. We ask our veterans here to give back to the sim, showing them around, telling, just greeting people that come to our sim, family members, supporters of veterans, welcoming them to the sim, showing them around, telling them about what we do. And by doing that, they can earn the jersey that I'm wearing. So when they enter, they get a gray one. We also have the royal blue one, which is for our supporters. On the sim, we provide kiosks with every bit of information that a veteran could possibly need in reference to their Veterans Affairs benefits. My real life email and my phone number is also provided so that a veteran or family member, if they have any further questions or they need something, they can always contact me. I also provide training and classes, PTSD awareness, Veterans Affairs suicide awareness training, classes on navigating the VA healthcare system, filing disability claims, anything that a veteran may want or need to know. I like to empower our veterans because knowledge is power, and they can walk into an unfamiliar place, for example, the VA, and they have that knowledge to, if they meet that lazy employee that doesn't want to work, they can tell them how to do their job. And that's what I like to do. We do have an amazing destination video that recently was done by Draxor, and we are very proud of it. It has a lot of views, some great comments, and so I am posting it here for you. We'd love to show anybody around if you've not seen our sim. We're very excited about what we're doing, giving back to our brothers and sisters, to their family members, or to anybody. As a matter of fact, I just welcomed a Russian veteran this morning, welcomed him to our sim and called him brother, and he was kind of blown away by that. But that is what we're about. Veterans, we have our own language that we speak, and it doesn't matter what country we come from. Most of our information on the sim is, in fact, for the United States, but we welcome all. I'd like to thank all of you for giving me your time this morning, and please feel free to reach out to me. Any questions, a tour of the sim, any assistance with the upcoming holiday, I would like to tell you to please give thanks for all the little things in life. As a combat vet and being fortunate enough to have made it home, I've learned long ago to appreciate those small things, and I appreciate them even more for my brothers and sisters who did not return with me. All of you have an outstanding Army Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. That was beautiful and well said. Thinking about the things that we have to be thankful for, and just look all around this space where we are sitting, and we have this sense of presence. It is real, and you are real colleagues, friends, and people that I'm grateful for, and I know you are too. And our next speaker, I'm really excited to introduce the student perspective in Second Life. It's so nice to see a young generation coming in, using virtual worlds, seeing how this is going to evolve in the future. If you zoom in behind me, just past the giant turkey of Namara's gratitude turkey, you'll see an easel. And I think Krayatya is going to maybe mention this poster. The Community Virtual Library, where I've been for many years, as you know, partners with San Jose State University iSchool, School of Information and Library Science. And so we have some young library students coming into Second Life, learning about libraries and information services in the future. And Krayatya, I'm going to turn the mic over to you to share a bit about what you do at San Jose State University and Vakara. Krayatya?
Thank you very much, Val. Greetings. My name is Shannon, but you can also call me Kriatya. I'm a relatively new member to Vicara, the Virtual Center for Archives and Records Administration, as it sounds like many of you already know, at the San Jose State University High School, having just joined the MLIS program this fall after taking a summer course through Open Courses. My first project has been working on enhancements at the longstanding Vicara Victorian Village. Some of you may know from Vicara's past participation in the Dickens Project. You can learn more about my project in the note card and on the poster that Val just mentioned. But today I'm going to read a statement from my co-presenter Mystic Starling, who unexpectedly couldn't make it today at the last minute. And so this next piece is Sarah's. And it starts out like this. Hello, my name is Sarah, but please call me Mystic. I am a student at SJSU, pursuing an MLIS, and I've recently become interested in librarianship and education in virtual worlds. I just wanted to briefly go over my experience as a student representative of Vicara at SJSU in connection with the Community Virtual Library in Second Life. Initially, I joined Vicara not knowing what I wanted to do or where I might fit in. But after several tours and talks, I ended up connecting with Val Librarian and volunteering to do a reference shift at CVL every Monday at 2 p.m. Second Life time. While most of the days at the library are quiet and slow, giving me time to work on school assignments and projects, there are some lively days when patrons approach me with an information need, and I must think quickly how to help them. Once, it was to locate a book on Greek mythology in our folklore section. And most recently, to create an opportunity for further collaboration between CVL and music artists in Second Life. I am also responsible for writing thank you notes to our generous donors for keeping CVL open and accessible to the Second Life residents. Overall, I feel I'm learning a great deal just by spending 1 hour at the library each week. She continues as follows. The best experience I've had so far was designing promotional and resource posters for our Banned Book Weeks exhibit this past September. Not only did I get to contribute creatively, which is something I'd like to do again in the future, but work alongside some incredibly talented people. And afterwards, I was able to share what I'm doing here in the real world. I'm taking a reference and information services course, and in that class, we were tasked with submitting an artifact that represents something interesting we've learned about library work. Of course, I couldn't help sharing a bunch of screenshots I took of the Banned Book Weeks exhibit and a little summary of the discussion that delved into book challenges and censorship, and how librarians can support communities in advocating for readers' power. All this is to say that having this space to facilitate my library student aspirations and network has been a blessing in my journey at SJSU. And it's thanks to Vicara, Soraya, also known as Little Rover, and Bethany, for reaching out to the student community about virtual worlds and Second Life, and for taking the time to show me how this platform can be used in libraries and education for growing and learning. Thank you. And I, Kriatya, thank you also for your time today.
Thank you, Kriya. I had no idea I was going to hear so much about the library work that was and the Banned Books Week. And some of you may remember she mentioned Mystic working. Little Rover, she shared the space librarian. Somebody's mic is on. Just double check that your mic is turned off when you're finished. And the space librarian was an interesting build of libraries in the future, perhaps in space. And also, I believe she mentioned the Vicara has a Dickens, sort of a Victorian village. And when we do our Dickens tour, we may have time to check out the San Jose State University Dickens Victorian Village as well, which I think would be wonderful. It's a simply beautiful space. So we'll move on to our next speaker, and I'm excited to get to hear from Leslie at Happy Hippo. Leslie, take it away.
Hi. Okay, well, my name is Leslie offline. That's the name I was given when I was born. And I just wasn't very creative when I came into Second Life because I had no idea. So that's where I started. My I am personally a retired nurse educator, and coming into Second Life, at first I didn't quite know what to do, and I did this hostessing thing, and I thought, oh my gosh. And then I met Victoria. In 2009, Victoria started a small shop selling tutorials at the Little Blue Sandbox, and it quickly grew to become the Happy Hippo Building School. After a prolonged trip to Germany 11 years ago, she decided to turn the school over to me with the assistance of Jillian Snowbear. After several years, I added Gordon Guitar as a co-owner, and some of you may know Gordon. And this past spring, we invited Jezebel Dagger, who's a very experienced Second Life mentor and build instructor, to join our ownership team. Several of the teachers at our school have at least 10 to 12 years of teaching, and some of them have been in other grids like OpenSim. Happy Hippo continues to thrive as an independent school with no outside funding at all. And I'm going to copy this into the chat because I know that some of you prefer that. In addition to teaching building through the classes, we have several free, totally updated tutorial boards which are publicly available 24/7. We've got sandboxes for the small and larger builds, and this past summer, our resource center has been enlarged to provide avatar appearance support, more free building tools such as textures, Avisitter, and a whole informative floor providing information about advanced building practices. And we also have a lot of the Linda Kelly and Arcadia Asylum content on there for people. There are a limited number of classes for purchase at various locations around our area as well. It's going to take me a second to post this because I'm very shaky this morning. So just to get my mouse in the right spot. As we have a portal from the Linden Landing Point, we have a lot of brand new residents that arrive from all over the world. The past year or so has brought an influx of people returning to Second Life after being away for many years. I think the longest was actually away for 12. And in many ways, they're brand new to Second Life. And even if they're not new to Second Life, all of a sudden they're going, what's a mesh body? What are you talking about? Why don't these clothes fit? We had one fellow actually spend about $20 on clothes and nothing fit. So we have a lot of education to do with a lot of these folks, which I'm sure all of you have the same issues. So we talk with the arrivals, we provide the needed information, and we mentor them as they request in a kind and very patient way because they're seeking guidance with their everyday functioning. In our classes and mentoring, we're passing on knowledge and in-world experiences by determining what the individual needs are. Our classes provide skill-based education, mainly on the basic and intermediate levels, and we're currently gradually increasing the classes to a more advanced level as the demand is requiring. The teachers present their materials, they evaluate, and then they make the changes necessary for presentation to future groups of students or individuals. We do our best to reduce the stress of the steep learning curve that's here in Second Life in order for the students to be able to enjoy their journey and to increase retention. We believe very strongly that all educational facilities in Second Life have similar goals, and we've tried to foster this attitude of cooperation by referring students to other schools from time to time and by including mini calendars near our calendar in the main sandbox. If you wish to have yours included and it's not already there, please let me know. Our motto is dedicated to success, or to your success, sorry. And we do believe that if students are successful, then we are as well. If you want more information or our landmarks, they're included on the note cards that are in Val's basket. So as she asked, just click on it and you can get a lot of information from everybody here. And thanks again for inviting us to speak today.
Thanks so much, Leslie, and it's great to learn more and more about what Happy Hippo has to offer and many of the other communities here at the Harvest Table. I'm glad you mentioned my basket in case anybody didn't click on it. And we'll move on to Shiloh, who's going to tell us about Vertec. Shiloh? And Shiloh, you're welcome to use voice or local chat.
Okay, I want to thank you, Vale, for you setting up these harvest gathering, and I just want to applaud everybody for sharing all of the background. It's just so fascinating to learn about all these different facets that exist in Second Life. I want to thank the nonprofit Commons for inviting me and Veritech to join their SIM and set up an office. I did set up our working office for myself, the presenters and educators whose programs I set up, and the Caltech students and speakers. And Veritech, I think most of you know, is virtual Caltech. Graciously offers a platform for us to create public education projects. And I also want to thank Vale again and the CDL for including me in the harvest gathering this year. My position at Veritech is varied. I wear many caps. I'm a project developer, an events manager. I handle estate management. And I kind of also look at myself as being a facilitator. When people have a vision about what they would like to do in Second Life, the interest that they have and what they, to communicate. I feel like I help to facilitate that because they want to spread their message out there. Veritech, I think all of you know, it's an experimental campus operated by the Extended Reality Laboratory, the Center for Data-Driven Discovery at the California Institute of Technology, which is Caltech. And in addition to Veritech's other activities, sorry for the typo on that, we offer popular science lectures and other education-related events as a public service. George adds a comment that we will continue to use Veritech for experiments with virtual teaching labs, and I may also do some class-related activity with the Caltech students in the winter term, probably some student research work during the summer. And I think a lot of you were aware that he brought in a grad student to talk about the James Webb Telescope, which was very popular, and he was able to stream in Second Life the way that art and science intersect, especially when it comes to the cosmos, and how science ideas of cosmos influence art, and how art influence our vision of what cosmology is all about. George, I consider, is an incredible visionary, and AKA here in Second Life is Curious George. He's the director of Veritech, also a professor of astronomy and data science, and director of the Center for Data-Driven Discovery at Caltech. He scooped up Day Miami's Geology Museum, ARI, for streaming on Saturdays at 11 a.m. and everyone's welcome, and offered me the opportunity to help promote ARI and other events that either George sets up or that I develop and organize. So thank you, George. Even though he couldn't be here today, I want everyone to know how appreciative I am. And I thank him for his support and offering Veritech as a support platform. Now, some of you may remember that I have a deep interest in exhibits in the virtual world, the creation of museum-grade exhibits that educate as well as if they were in the physical world. My background training is in anthropology at the University of New Mexico, where Ellie is at right now. And I also have a background in museum training, exhibits, presentation, and curating. I attended Michigan State University to study fine art as an undergrad, but switched my degree in focus to the history and anthropology disciplines. So in reality, I have many interests: culture, science, art, social science, environment, water. And one of my interests is in honeybees. And since I love honey, but in a deeper sense, the culture of raising honeybees, the importance of honeybees to agriculture and to increased crop diversity, as well as honey and its health properties and the culture of honey. And this is why I am developing the program at Veritech, the Honeybee and Honey Education Project, which I think many of you participated in when we had the kickoff. And eventually, it is my hope to bring in speakers from the outside of Second Life to talk about honeybees and honey, and our relationship to these two factors, which are ubiquitous around the world, but have varied histories. And if you remember, the series kickoff was this August 2022 and showcased the marvelous exhibit by the Buzz About Bees exhibitors. We have Lycan Driscoll here right now from Mississippi, and Eagle Himmel could not join us today. She's from Colorado due to inclement weather and other responsibilities at home. And if Lycan, he's welcome to wave, okay? Their exhibit is an anchor for my program and will remain at Veritech. It is always open. And, you know, if you want to just, he has a mailbox set up there. You can stop on in, leave a message, and maybe you can set up a time when he's not busy working with EchoVets and, you know, Eagle's not busy doing some teaching and everything in real life, but maybe they can set up a time to come over and talk a little bit about the exhibit if you weren't able to join us during the opening. My next project was to bring in Sheila Diesel from India, who trained at both Stanford University and the prestigious IMM, which is the Indian Institute of Management, the National Institute of Industrial Engineering. And we're very honored to have her at Veritech and be part of this public education team. She is teaching the class on project management at Veritech, which normally is on Thursdays, and you are all welcome to join us if you can. Dee Miami, I think some of you are aware of, is a fantastic geologist. His geology museum is at Veritech. I have asked Dee to also set up a mailbox so that he can start, you know, every now and then to give a talk about his geology museum. So I hope to start seeing that going on. As I say, he's very fascinating. We're very honored to showcase his work and offer a permanent home for the Geology Museum. And under construction at this time is a revision of the Natural History Museum, which will open in the next few months. Dave has told me that, and I will keep you all posted. And last but not least, please join us every Saturday to hear Ari's classical piano short stream at 11 a.m. The event we always look forward to. It's an enjoyable time to kick back, share some info on classical piano, and chat with each other. So I will keep you all posted as I develop future programs, projects, and exhibits at Veritech, and future programs that George develops. And as I said, George has offered me an open door to create at Veritech. I mean, it's like a dream come true. And this one will keep me energized about the possibilities for education in the virtual world. And I want to thank you all for your time today.
Thank you, Shiloh. You've really brought up how diverse this group of communities is. Everything from science, geology, history, art, literature, everything, all these great high quality communities. And I'm glad you mentioned Ari, who brings music to us and to many of our communities. He also plays at the VWEC Commons every Wednesday at noon. What a wonderful way to have a midweek break and listen to that beautiful music. And so next, speaking of music, we are going to hear from Cat's Eye, who is going to tell us about the music library, which curates Second Life musicians. Cat's Eye?
Hi. Hello. Something is making noise in the background. I'm not sure what that is.
I think Shiloh's mic's still open.
Oh, Shiloh, could you? I'm kind of hard of hearing, so it's coming right in my ear. Okay. Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Hello? Yeah. Okay. Good. I'll start then. Anybody who knows me knows that music is like air to me. So I got seduced by music when I was on my way to becoming a librarian here in Second Life. That's what brought me in. And now I'm back to libraries with music. Oops, I missed part of my note card went away. Well, I guess that explains who I am. I have a lot of hats I wear. I work on the administrative team at Whole Brain Help on Inspiration Island and Wellbeing Island. And I also serve as an acting director. Well, I also help Octagon as a program manager. I work for Marley. And I also serve as acting director for the Marley Molina Music Library at CBL. And I'm here to express my excitement about the music library. And I wish my speakeasy would work. Let's see. Oh, there we go. What are we about? We are about love of the arts, especially focusing now on original composers, musicians, and songwriters of Second Life. I don't, Ches. We want to support, distribute, and make accessible the works of these musicians who are truly the soul of Second Life. Just a couple of years ago, it only existed in Marley Molina's creative mind. Marley shared her library idea with the director and assistant director of the Community Virtual Library, the librarian Greg, whom we all have here and love, and Elise Dunavant Jones, who isn't in Second Life right now. Hopefully she'll come back when she's ready with her Second Life, real life dreams. Anyway, they saw the potential and need for a Second Life music library. And thanks to thinkerer Selby Evans, we have a place to do that. Val and Elise made it happen. The beautiful building and grounds are complete thanks to the design and building skills of Dawn Graymist. We are ironing out the technical puzzles of distribution and IP issues with the help of our techie genie, our resident genius, Francisco Kulhaben. If you haven't had the pleasure of meeting him, I hope you do, especially if you have a technical problem, a scripting problem. IP issues are being resolved with the help of Val Librarian Greg and her team of librarians. Yes. Now we can actually start the collection and offer space to Second Life musicians to gather, support, and share with each other, as well as a space where Second Life citizens can discover our world's original musicians and their work beyond the hit and miss of word of mouth or the bombardment of notices. We can do this through sharing scores, CDs, links to videos and websites, however the artists want to share samples of their work. If you haven't been to the library, do you remember when libraries had listening rooms? Well, we have listening pods. They're quite beautiful, and you'll be able to listen to the musicians of your choice. You can already hear Marley's works. I invite you to try them out. We need your help to nominate the best original musicians in Second Life. Our selection committee is forming and starting their work. One way we honor our best original musicians, songwriters, and composers is to celebrate a Musician of the Month on the fourth Saturday at 1 p.m. Second Life time. And we have showcased many musicians from all genres to date, and there are still many more to come. As you know, we have lots of great musicians in Second Life. Our next Musician of the Month is November 26th at 1 p.m. to honor Denny Mack, who specializes in acoustic and electric fingerstyle guitar, and I hope we'll see you there. So that's pretty much what I have to say. I hope you come and listen, participate. We need the nominations that you guys can bring, and I'm sure you'll love touring the library. If I'm online, give me a yell and I'll come and help you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Cat's Eye. It's such a pleasure to work with you. And so now we're going to move to our next speaker. We're going to hear a little bit about book clubs in Second Life. We've talked about science and art and music, and here's a chance to talk about literature, and I'm going to turn the mic over to Zoe.
Thanks, Val. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. I'm Zoe, a librarian and lover of books in all worlds. And I know many of you, you also know that I'm a volunteer librarian at CVL, the Community Virtual Library. And CVL has a short list of virtual book clubs. and I'll put the link in the local chat so you can check that out. And this list features book clubs that are in different time zones and with a variety of themes. So there's a little something for everyone. And if you're a host of a book club that isn't currently featured on our list, then we definitely welcome you to add yours. And let me put a link to the Google form that'll allow you to do that. And lastly, I'm often asked about the value and purpose of books in virtual worlds. People are like, why would we need books in virtual worlds? We can just read them on the web. Well, we commonly see books in Second Life that hold links to web-based PDFs, and those are awesome. Those are great. But there's also a whole world of books that are available to read in world as well. And so I welcome you to visit my reading room on the mainland. It's not affiliated with CVL, but it features several such examples of Second Life books that are written by Second Life authors for the Second Life audience on Second Life topics, and you can read them all without leaving SL. And I'll put a swirl in the local chat. And that's all from me. Thanks for your attention and happy harvest.
Thank you, Zoe. And I want to point out what's great about book clubs. Reading can be a sole experience alone, but talking with other people, that's when the critical thinking gets involved. So I'm involved in a real world book club and also several in Second Life. Caledon partners with our sci-fi read aloud that offers great discussions once a month. So reading in a shared space like this is a very rich experience. And our next speaker, we're going to move on to hear from, well, first of all, I want to say our next speaker is amazing because she built this entire space for you. She built the community harvest, the tables, the places that we're sitting, and she loves to build and create in Second Life. P. Ilios is a medical librarian in Puerto Rico. And what she has brought to CVL is really, really rich, I think, because our information exhibition was going to be just a little summer fair, and it's evolved into something that is seasonal. And it's just always bringing new relevant information into the virtual world. So I'm going to turn the mic over to P.
I am going to talk about the exhibitions in the community virtual library that several wonderful colleagues and I have developed a dynamic exhibition about the multiple social determinants that impede equal access to information to every human being. The exhibit exposes social issues of different minority groups or global problems like the war. Each season, our exhibition has something new to offer. We have worked with summer solstice, visuals, and history with festivals like Mardi Gras and Halloween, which I love, and the beauty of wintertime. Each of these exhibits we include an event that we read aloud together, a short story related to the season or festival. This year, our winter exhibition has the theme of Christmas around the world and our traditional Christmas tree lighting ceremony. We are excited and hoping to see you all there when we do it. That's all for me.
Thank you, P. And if you got the basket of handouts, when you click on it, you look in your inventory. It's called Librarian's Basket. In that folder, you will see a bit about what all of the different participants today have been sharing. Now, I hope that you have had a chance to think about some questions. Maybe you have a particular question for one of these speakers. Maybe you had not heard of their group and you might want to ask a little bit more about it. But take a look. I tried to put their name on the note cards to help you remember who's who and their name. Also, don't forget, if you're fairly new to Second Life, it's always great to click on someone's profile to learn a little bit more about them. If you right click on the person and go to their profile, or is it left click, right click? Yeah, right click. And then when you go to their profile, I like to take notes. I wish I could do that in the physical world. If you see notes there, you can jot down where you met them, something they said that intrigued you. It's a great way to keep track of all the people that I consider resources. You sitting at these tables and your communities, that's what I'm wearing on my head, not the books that are flying up. It's you are resources, and the basket is full of resources of communities. So P's, if you look at her note card, P. Ilios, inside it tells about the tree lighting coming up in December at her huge, gorgeous exhibit space, and the holiday traditions coming up. If you have traditions anywhere around the world, like I hope Dex can come and tell about Poland, Zri can maybe come and tell about Malaysia. Perhaps Sheila will give us some of the beautiful traditions of Great Britain. But it's holiday traditions, and it'll be at her info park on December the 18th. So let's open up for a few questions. And I can't believe, Ree, you must be proud of us. We actually did it on time. So,
That's
but
funny.
yeah, it's funny. But I do want to say that I was camming around, and some of you probably were too. And I noticed so many of you, and I was thinking, oh, I know you have so much to share here. I would like for you to share next year at the community harvest. And as I thought that, I was thinking, I don't want you to have to wait a whole year. You can fill in the form to present for NPC, or contact me if you're interested in sharing what you do, but you're not sure for what group or what type of presentation, because that's what we would like to do, is help share, curate, and archive the best of what people bring to Second Life. And that's the point of the community harvest. So let's open for questions.
And while we're waiting on questions too, I just wanted to say, give a chance to say thank you to Val and CVL and the many people who kind of, you and the others who helped organize this. It is no easy task wrangling this many people into 1 hour. So thank you for that. And thank you for everybody presented. So just wanted to break in with that.
Oh, yes, I want to say thanks again to Krayatya for being willing to come and present here when you're new to Second Life. You've learned so much so quickly, and I hope you'll continue to find your niche, because nobody sitting at these tables can do everything. And so it takes a lot of teamwork, but it's so well worth the effort.
And beyond questions, you certainly can put those in chat. Also, we usually do an open mic at the end of the weekly nonprofit commons meeting. So if there are upcoming events, you can feel free to add those in text chat here as well. I do want to bring up that Open Simulator Community Conference. Is another thing that Avacon helps organize, and that is December 10th and 11th, with a music arts kickoff on the 9th. And we'd love for you to come attend that. For those who are adventurous to want to explore an open simulator, many folks that are here, there's some of the nonprofit commons community that are also presenting. Val will be there, of course, presenting, and the schedule will be up in mere days, so you'll get to see everybody else who's there. But and if you want to volunteer, we still would love volunteers there. Even if you're new to Open Simulator, we can help get you situated and stuff. So I'll drop some links in. But Val, I don't know if there's any other things that you want to say to kind of wrap things up.
I just want to say thanks everybody for being here, and I know P took a lot of great photos, and so we'll definitely be sharing some of those. So thank you everybody for coming. It was just a beautiful event.